Yo, what's up, manga fans? This is Raphael from C Manga, and I'm here to give you a review of this week's chapter of the Breaker New Wave, chapter 135. And there's not really much to say about this chapter. It was one of those, those fillers, build-up kind of chapters. There was a bit of a fight, the spar thing, but as I said, it wasn't really much. I'd say exciting or massive change from what we've seen in the past 2 to 3 chapters. But other than that, it wasn't that completely daunting. I mean, the pace could have been a lot better, but I guess it just gives us a bit more to think about and things to look at that's most likely going to be coming up in this current arc. So as I said, it's just basically build up, making us interested. There was a few funny things in this chapter, like Jin-Ie having a flashback with a conversation with Yong-Hyun on the phone, and she's finding out that Shi-Woon is in a duel or spar with the Heavenly Way School leader So-Chun, and she's panicking, trying to convince him to change his mind and basically end the duel. And he's like, yeah, I can't really do that. And it's like, just give me some more time and I'll try and do it. And then he hangs up, and that's basically made her panic, because they know Elder Kwon is obviously being left out of the loop of this on purpose, and she's the one on the walk with him, and she's obviously panicking because she's bad at keeping secrets. So we see Shi-Woon still continually spar. It's more or less the same thing. He's impressing So-Chun with his skills. As I said, one interesting part was when he attempted a shoulder barge, which ended up being a feint that tricked So-Chun, and at the last minute it's like he brings his fist up to punch him, and there was like a dual exchange where both of their arms had crossed over each other's shoulder. So it was basically like a sort of a counter, but they both dodged and attacked at the same time, so it ended in a stalemate. So that was kind of interesting to see that Shi-Woon is starting to show that he can somewhat keep up with So-Chun, but So-Chun is still somewhat in control, if that makes sense. But as I said, it's kind of fun to see that these guys are enjoying themselves and they're having a good time. This is, as I said before, I think this is going to rebuild the bond between and the relationship between the Chun-Woo and the Heavenly Way School. So yeah, we see Jin-Ie again. She's trying to hide the facts of the spar from Elder Kwon, and he's not stupid. He knows something's up and he questions her about it. But he receives a phone call, and this phone call confuses Jin-Ie because she thinks this is him being informed about Shi-Woon having a duel with So-Chun, and the fact that a Heavenly Way School member is in their main house. But it actually wasn't that, because I thought it was most likely him being informed by the Murm about the 9 Arts activities, and the fact that he's going off to the Martial Arts Alliance. So she obviously jumps the gun and assumes he's been informed, and she's like, apologize, I'm sorry, Granddad, it's like, I heard they were friends for very long, regardless of him being from the Heavenly Way School, so don't be too mad. And he's like, what? It's like, that's what you were hiding? It's like he was mad at something else, which obviously I said was him being informed about the Niner, and then basically gets peed off about that. And he's saying there's some freaking arsehole from the Heavenly Way School in our main house, and then she's like, oh, it's crying to herself. Then last bit, we see Kang-Sung is being informed that So-Chun and Jung Chang can't be contacted, to do with the 9 Arts situation. The 4 supernovas, these guys I've mentioned again, they're basically spread out and they can't be contacted quick enough to be brought to get here in time to help. And it's Northern Black Star, Southern Red Star, the Western White Star, and the guy, and obviously the Eastern one that we still don't know about yet. So yeah, basically not only that they can't get any reinforcements, it's like the ones that they do have are basically crapping themselves whenever they're informed of the 9 Arts Dragon's name. So as soon as they say, oh yeah, Chun-Woo, everyone's making up excuses and crapping themselves in fear, and basically, now I've got better things to do. And that's basically how bad the situation is for the Murm and the Martial Arts Alliance, because they've got no one to fight against him right now. Well, particularly Kang-Sung's army anyway. So what else happened? Yeah, Zhonglei one, basically, yeah, that was one last thing. One of the guys informed Kang-Sung, is like, do you want to take up Zhonglei one's offer and we go to Jong-Dae-won basically trying to get military police to basically protect the merm outside their building. But the guy he was speaking to before, who I'm assuming he's like chief of security and military, he's told him that that's an insult to the merm and there's no way you can do that. And he's tried to basically ask for military help. He's like, I'll stop him at the airport. And the guy berated him. He's like, you're a freaking idiot. Why are you going to try and bring an army, a whole army in broad daylight into this middle of Seoul city? He's like, you know how bad that's going to look, especially for like a small group of people, no matter how dangerous they are. And it's like they're trying to track the Nine Arts right now, who are obviously on their way to the Martial Arts Alliance building. But the traffic basically monitoring system is completely dragged down, and they're like, did the Nine Arts group do this? And just as they've spoken of this, we see Chun-Woo and his Nine Arts crew have stepped out. They're looking at a tall building. It's like, oh, what a beautiful building. It's a shame it's going to be destroyed soon. So it looks like the Nine Arts crew have arrived at the Martial Arts Alliance building, and yeah, I'm guessing hopefully next chapter we'll see some fighting and, you know, the start of this madness. So as I said, it wasn't much of a brilliant chapter, but it just gave points and build up and stuff like that, which will make hopefully the next few chapters interesting. I just hope the pace doesn't slow down like before, and you know, the author really does kind of drag it along sometimes. I hope he doesn't do that, because he's been doing so well with the last 2 to 3 months, and his storytelling was definitely on point for me. It was very, you know, interesting. So hopefully it stays that way and stays consistent. The only things I can think is, I think the Nine Arts Dragon and Kang-Sung will fight again, because Kang-Sung seems like he's the only one strong enough to at least match up against him. But I'm assuming the Nine Arts has probably gotten much stronger since then. So I'm thinking he will barely held his own, but he's the only one worthy. Shi-Woon and Chun-Woo, master, apprentice or master and disciple, will eventually meet. When that happens, I don't know. But I think by the time they meet, So-Chun will most likely join the alliance with him, and I just feel like there's going to be a massive conflict between him and his master, and you know, to do with the merm. Like, just imagine that Shi-Woon is basically the talk of the merm, and imagine Chun-Woo to find this out. I just feel like there'll be some conflict, especially if he's, you know, Shi-Woon sort of like, you know, working as a gaiju, which is part of the merm and supports that, so that's going to be some conflict there. I'd like to know who the fourth supernova is. I know it's a bit random to bring that up, but because they saying the 4 supernovas, we still haven't had the identity of the fourth one yet. So he's obviously going to be Eastern something star, Eastern green star, Eastern blue star something. Hopefully we'll get to know who he is, because obviously he's most likely a powerful character if they kept him anonymous for this long. And yeah, other than that, I don't think there's really much else to think of. As I said, there's just going to be a lot of war between the merm and Martial Arts Alliance and the Nine Arts crew, and I think this is what will end the new waves, and then hopefully the third part will start sometime next year. I'm definitely looking forward to these next few chapters. As I said, I just hope the pacing doesn't slow down and drags out, and we get some fast, consistent chapters like we had before. So other than that, that's all I have to say. The chapter was, as I said, as it was, just a build up, so you can't, nothing really to talk about. It was good, but it wasn't perfect and it wasn't the best. So as I said, can't wait for the next ones. That's what I'm looking forward to. So anyway, I've rabbled on enough. If you guys, as usual, have anything you want to say, any predictions, opinions, or you know, thoughts on the chapter, leave them in the comment box below. If you enjoyed the video and the chapter, leave us a like, because not only it helps us out, it helps out the series, which I think definitely deserves to get more views and notice. It deserves its popularity to build, definitely. And if you're interested, subscribe to our channel, as we're currently reviewing Hajime no Ippo Rising, along with obviously the manga that coincides with it, and several other things that might interest you. And also, if you missed last week's review of the Breaker, check it out on the top right, and I'll speak to you guys next week.